Alright, so for this one here, I'm going to go through example 3 that is on page 45 of your textbook. So go ahead and open up to that and read the problem. So I've got 3 sets to consider here. So I've got public transit, cycling, and walking. So bus, cycling, and walking basically. So I've got bus, cycling, and walking. 3 sets. Let's draw them. Okay, so it looks something like that. Okay, so the universal set would be the 750 students that are surveyed in this school. Alright. Okay, so as the previous example, what I usually recommend is you start in the middle and work your way out if you can. So the middle is the number of people that use all 3 forms of transportation. So if you look, you do see that the third last point from the bottom is that 20 students walk, cycle, and use public transit. So that tells me that 20 people use all 3 forms. So that's great. I do have this central term here. Okay, so that'll help us out. So another general rule of thumb is you work with and statements before or statements. So those last 2 statements that have or in them, I'll put them off as long as I can. So I guess the 4th point down, 35 students walk and cycle. So I've got walking walking and cycling. So that means that the intersection between C and W is 35. So that means this area right here, I'm outlining it, is 35. You might notice that I've also got 20 people here, right? So that's included in the 35 that walk and cycle. So that means if 20 are out here that also bike, that means 15 only cycle and walk. Now you can see, alright, cycling and walking will have 35 people. Okay? So you need to be really careful about how the problem is worded. In this case it says 35 students walk and cycle. That does not mean that 35 people go right here. It means that 35 people go in the complete intersection of the 2 sets. And we've already got 20 of them. So that leaves 15 out there. We're actually going to use that in the next point as well. So I've got 80 students walk and bus. So walk and bus is right here. I've got 80 students in this intersection. Well, I've already got 20 of them there. Well, that means that 60 of them must be right here. Okay. Next point, 100 cycle and bus. So alright, so that means 100 are in this intersection. I've already got 20 of them there, so that leaves 80 up here. Okay? Now, I'm told that 370 use public transit, so 370 use the bus. That's great, actually, because that tells me that set B has 370 people in total. So all of set B will add up to 370. So what I can do here now is I know that 80 plus 20 plus 60 plus whatever this number is should give me 370, right? So all I really need to do to find out how much this number is to take these away from 370. So I would do 370 minus 80 minus 20 minus 60, right? So that would leave 210 people that only use the bus. Okay? Alright, now I need to try to find out how many people only walk and only cycle. So that means now I have to look at the last 2 points. Let's look at the second to last point there. So 445 students cycle or bus. So you see the word or there. That means it's a union now, right? Remember that a union is actually the what shows up in one or the other. So if I've got B union C, that's really elements that are anywhere in B or anywhere in C, right? So all of this is what adds up to the 445, which up here really is all of that right there adds up to 445. I'm trying to cover up the bottom as best I can. So what you'll notice is that I have all of these numbers here. I'm only missing out that one right there. So to find out how many people only cycle, I would just take 445 minus the 210 minus the 80 minus the 20 minus the 60, then minus the 15. Okay, so that should give us I think 60. Yep, 60. Okay, just double checking my answer in the book, that's all. Making sure I didn't make an arithmetic mistake. Walking. So I look at the last point now. 265 students walk or cycle. Well, if I know that 265 walk or cycle, well, that's again the union between W and C. Well, that would be all of these right here. So you see how I needed to get this one in order to now find this one. So I've got 265 in all of these. So to find out how many only walk, I would just take the 265, subtract the 60, subtract the 80, subtract the 15, subtract the 20, and subtract the 60. So that leaves us with 30 people that only walk. Alright, so at this point I've got pretty much everything that I need, and they are asking us in the problem how many students use green transportation. So it looks like all you would need to do to find out how many use green transportation is to add all of these numbers together. So we would just take 210 plus 60 plus 30 plus 15 plus 20 plus 80 plus 60. I think that's all of them. Okay? And then that would be your final answer, which I think is like 475 if I didn't miss a number. Okay?